executive experience in the Miami real estate market. My office is currently in Miami Beach. And today we're going to be unpacking the closing process. How if we bring clarity, communication, preparation, it can turn into a far more calm and confident experience for both the buyer and realtor. Today I'm honored to be joined by RJ Curington, real estate attorney, and the founder of Curington Law. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited. So can you tell me a little bit about your background before we go into the closing process?
Sure, Andreana. So a little bit about me, based in Chicago and have expanded to multiple markets, Indiana, New York, and now Florida. And we do a few services. I like to call it like a trifecta of services that all supplement together: real estate, business, and estate planning. All of them go hand in hand. There are even other services that could also supplement, but those are the main ones. You know, you buy a property, you have to protect it. You know, you build the empire, you have to protect it. You have to protect it legally, and we do that. And we do it with a very smooth demeanor. We make the process very simple. And we've closed numerous transactions in Chicago and looking to do the same in Florida with, you know, a lot of the different services that we offer.
So you're a licensed attorney, correct?
That's right.
And you're licensed in all 4 states?
All 4 states.
So you're what? I read New York, Indiana.
That's right. Illinois, Florida.
So you took in like 2 of the hardest bars in the country.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
They were pretty hard.
And you did your undergrad work at DePaul?
Yep. That's right.
You're a Blue Demon?
Blue Demon all the way. Got my undergrad, grad, and law degree there.
Oh, okay.
So that place holds dear to my heart, and also played basketball there on the Division I level in the Big East.
Okay, I don't know. Did you guys ever play against us? You know, I'm a former Jayhawk.
Oh wow! Oh, the Kansas Jayhawks. We didn't. You know, they're so good. They're a good team. Those must have been like really really good games, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, hard to get into, but yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah,
it was a good time. Big Monday. Dick Vitale was always there. I always had a night class.
Oh, wow. So, wow.
It was always something.
Those teams were so good. Oh, my goodness. Those Kansas teams.
I was there
Iconic.
for the years of Paul Pierce.
Wow. Legend.
Yes. Yes.
Icon. Yeah, those were great teams. They had a point guard on that team, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I love that.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you get into real estate law?
So real estate found me while I was taking the bar. I was lending and learned about real estate. I had initially thought, like playing sports, that I would be a sports agent and would go into that field. And while I was like kind of going through that process, being a lender and trying to do the sports agent route, like sports and contracts really found me as well. But as I found out, that lending aspect combined with the law really saw an avenue for real estate. And you know, I think about it now, like I can't really remember a certain period of time where I was like, real estate law is what I want to do. So I was doing entertainment contracts and just reviewing them, drafting them, IP, trademarks. I was doing all that stuff. But real estate literally found me because I just got into it. And no looking back, it's like my main practice area, and it's been fantastic.
How many years?
3.
Okay, 3 years. And you've expanded quickly.
So quick. It's like I wake up, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
God is good.
God is great.
Awesome. So now you're in the Miami real estate market. What have you noticed?
It's like it's so different, you know, than Chicago. Like not just the procedure and the way that the closings go, because a lot of what I do is get to the closing table with buyers and sellers and make sure it's smooth. But here, you know, attorneys really aren't even used that much, and so like finding my footing in this arena wasn't easy because, you know, you had the title and escrow arm, which, you know, I have a company that I run that does that as well. but attorneys are much needed in this space because the realtors, they draft the contracts, they make the and the uniform contract, and I mean they're doing work that's really complex because those terms, you're bound by those terms once you sign the contract.
Right.
And so having an attorney review it, I feel like is immensely helpful. Another thing I've seen is a lot of new development because, this place is just growing.
Yes.
It's beautiful and it's great as it is, but it is going to be even more magnificent.
Oh, yes. Yes, the future of Miami is bright.
It's so bright.
But I think to make the closing process calmer, I think people need to be more informed.
Totally.
And when should this start?
Interesting. So I think it should start immediately, like as soon as possible, like looping all of the team members in. You have your realtor, you have your lender, and then you have your title company. But the attorney, I think, is an integral part to just go through your different options in the contract.
So even before the offer's presented, the attorney should be.
I think so.
Okay.
Why not? Right. I mean, having that legal foundation is vitally important, and just knowing the terms, like what you're signing.
What I noticed is, it's funny you say that.
Yeah.
I want to say right after the pandemic, a lot more New Yorkers came. And so the team I was on, we were talking with more attorneys.
Yeah.
A lot of our buyers were represented by attorneys. And so they would review everything before we sent it over, which was new to us. Yeah. But it was also, it's a good safety net for the buyer
100%.
or the seller. Uh-huh.
I agree. Like we're that extra layer of protection, because you sign something that's like what some people say, the biggest investment of your life.
Right.
It really is. Buying real estate is the ultimate goal, and you want to make sure you're protected. A few $100s to make sure that you're protected. Mm-hmm. I think it's the most important investment of your life, or like the most important thing that you can do in that process.
So tell me, why is there so much anxiety coming to the closing table?
Because it's the lack of education. I mean, you have the realtor lender who are advising and may not or can't actually give the legal advice.
What have you seen to where deals have almost fallen apart because of lack of knowledge?
Sure. The contingencies in the contract. There are a lot of contingencies that need to be met. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you can lose out on certain opportunities. If it's a condo, reviewing the HOA documents, which mm-hmm. is super important in Florida after the Surfside event. Mm-hmm. So that the different numbers as well. That's really, really vital. But also some of the earnest money, the initial deposit that you provide, right. Knowing like when that is recoverable, when it's not, and again, just meeting those deadlines and contingencies.
It's very important. One of the things that our team does is make a benchmark.
Yeah.
A benchmark calendar for the clients and for all the team members, like you said, involved. If there's a lender involved, sometimes in South Florida there is no lender because it's cash, and so it's just with the title. Yours just between you and the title, and that's it.
Those are the best.
Those are clean deals,
clean and easy, and it's just another thing that's so fascinating about Florida: the wealth. The mm-hmm. wealth in Florida is unreal. I mean, there are like these homes that are their value is immense.
Yes,
and so that comes with another layer of protecting the investment, and that's more on the realtor side, evaluating the properties and things like that. But that's something I noticed.
Yes. Having the wealth here is immense. It's grown. It's growing. And to have like you said, those protections of an attorney really do matter.
Totally.
The lack of education, we've seen that.
Yeah.
And if your realtor's not on top of it, you can miss out on earnest money.
I agree. And that's the biggest anxiety inducing thing is losing that deposit. Because it's basically like, oh my God, I just gave away this money because of something that I could have easily avoided if I had the counsel to protect it.
Right,
So
right. The counsel. And then the realtor's also at fault for not
Of course. And
staying on top of your investment. But
100%.
there's kind of little recourse in that one, I think. Well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, communication is key.
Right.
Communication is key. Having that full transparency with the client, the buyer, investor, is so important because there are a lot of cracks that could happen. And then once you fall through the crack in just a miscommunication, it could really hurt the deal and could maybe even have the deal terminated.
Oh, yeah. Torpedo your deal. Yeah, I've seen that. I've been doing this 10 years. What advice do you have for realtors to better prepare their clients for the closing process?
For sure. The biggest key thing of advice is just being honest, with your client, with expectations, not over promising, under promising, over delivering is something I think is important for realtors to know. I know it can be something where you want to be the best for your client, but they want honesty. They want someone that they can trust, especially with something that's so delicate as the real estate transaction.
Right.
So that's something that I would advise them. I would also advise them to really, I would advise them to use an attorney, but I would also advise them to make sure that they're educated on the process, and educated as much as they can in real estate, because they're professionals, they're advisors, and so that knowledge that you're giving the client is very important.
It's mostly knowing the contract, knowing the benchmarks,
100%.
right? And that's what realtors need to understand.
And that's what I really love about the field that I'm in, is I'm able to educate. A lot of the things that I do is seminars and different educational events for clients, providing material where they can utilize like very, very quick checklist things that they can use as like a guide. A
guide for them and the realtor.
This is for the realtor.
Oh, for the realtor.
This is for the realtor. The buyer, I also do those, first-time home buyer investor seminars as well, so that the client is informed, but also for the realtor.
Awesome. Awesome. Will you be hosting any soon here in the Miami area?
I'm working with a lot of lenders.
Okay.
To see how we can work together to provide all different angles of the process. Me going over contract terms in the closing process, and the lender talking about the different programs that are out there, especially for the difficult deals when you're dealing with a condo, and the different requirements that are needed on the lending perspective.
Right, right. So, yes, there are options, mortgages for the condos, the ones that are found unwarrantable.
Right, exactly.
Which is a dirty word.
yeah, 100%.
And so it's important to have those different options, and also know how to protect yourself legally.
Totally.
That's going into that. One thing I found out, you need to make one of the things that clients need to make sure of is the complete financial history. I think you touched on that briefly, but that comes back to be a problem if there's some special assessment that hasn't been disclosed.
It's crazy. I mean, these special assessments now with the new legislation in place that's going effective in January, these condos have to have a full reserve study and needed to be funded. So there are possible things that were deferred that they just didn't take care of. Now they have to take care of them. So There are things to offset that because those special assessments could be like, thousands of dollars.
It's mostly for those older condos.
Right, 30 years and
Right.
before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mostly for the older condos, and so it's kind of like hurt a little bit simply because some people are taking out a mortgage,
Right.
and you're asking me to pay what, $4,000 a month or
Exactly.
anywhere between 16 to 4,000 extra a month.
Yes.
On top of the regular HOA fee.
Right.
So
it's tough for a buyer because you could pay for it in cash. Sellers are forced to sell at a low price in order to have the deal go through because of these different regulations. So sellers need to be equally as cautious and aware on what they can do to sell the property because you could get so far down the road where there's a mortgage that's paid off, but then you have this special assessment that just pops up, and you're not netting anything. You're almost in a bankruptcy situation in some regard.
Right. So it's really important to protect yourself.
Totally.
What other things have you found coming into Florida in our real estate market that was kind of eye-opening to you?
Well, it's fun. It's not to say that it's not fun in Chicago, but it's like a year-round environment of being outside and enjoying life and things like that. The quality of life here is great from a real estate perspective because you can go to showings. In summer, I hear it's like really hot, but in the winter market and in the fall market, you can go out and enjoy yourself. But from like a professional perspective, I've just seen the values of the properties, like they're high. I touched on it a little bit before how the types of the money here is immense, but the values and how they're priced and how long the properties stay on the market. That's another thing that kind of was not a red flag, but something I noticed.
So, by you saying that, do you believe some of the properties are overvalued?
Totally. Yeah, but it's hard to value a property that's, multi-millions of dollars. And so I understand where the realtors are coming from with that. But then again, it goes to my point, of the education.
Right.
Like the comparables and things like that really require a level of due diligence that is makes the commission worth it. This is an opportunity for realtors to really show their value with these high priced properties.
What I noticed, since my background is in the Miami Beach condo market, it's really building specific.
Okay.
Certain buildings offer and that's going to be. And I think it's going to be all around town. Yeah. What is this building offering? And so that makes it, I want to say, it sets it apart. In North Beach, we have the Curington. You can't use outside comps on the Curington because of the spa.
Right.
At least not yet, until some others come on, other buildings come online in the near future. But just from those comparables, they don't match up because of the experience you have in the building.
You're a great realtor. See that you're educated. That's my point. People need realtors like yourself that are going to tell them these things that how would they know?
Right. So AI can't tell you that.
AI can't tell you that.
So yeah. So we still have value. Thank you.
Value.
Yeah, so the Miami Beach market, it's thriving. The condos, I think a lot of them are going through their special assessments now. And I think probably Q2, Q3, we'll see some relief with some of these special assessments.
It's positive. I think it's all positive.
Right.
Because these things need to be addressed. They've been deferred for years.
Right.
And so to have them, it protects the owners, protects the potential buyers.
It's really I remember a seasoned realtor in my office. She stood up and said, "Look, this is right. during the pandemic. She was like, we're going through what the real cost is right now of living in a condo. No more kicking the can down the road. I believe that's the term. You're going to have to pay. We're going to have to fix it. So I think condos got away with that for many years.
They did. They did. And it's a lot of relief that they'll have as well because, there are some leniencies in the legislation where condo owners and boards don't necessarily have to provide non-structural items. So really,
such as?
Like windows, things like that. Okay. Things that don't have to deal with the integrity of the building, the foundation.
Okay, yes.
So that's something that the owners and the HOA boards can use as relief. And then there's also financing too, that you can include in that reserve, like different, of course, reserves and the assessments, and also a number of different lines of credits and things like that.
I'm going to kind of switch the subject just a little bit.
Sure.
Because, last year or 2 years ago, we went through the NAR settlement. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time where some realtors were already doing it, but having to do having the showing agreements and stating our commissions. Yes. That's been a new thing here in Florida, which kind of took some people off guard.
Totally.
I kind of like it now. I'm used to it. Just going over the process with the clients. But have you found that to be an issue? Not having that?
I love that question because I feel like the NAR settlement really professionalized our industry, because gone were the days of the part-time realtor, right. And it's okay to have that part-time segment, but you have to be professional now. You have to show your value. You have to show why you're earning that commission, because there were a lot of realtors that were coming in and thinking that, I'm going to, be a superstar. I'm going to be on Owning Manhattan. I'm going to be just like the Selling Sunset realtors. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with it. And then the transparency was just phenomenal. And, for the end user, the buyer and the seller. And so I think it professionalized our business. And you see it. A lot of people were they were caught off guard, and they had to either adjust to it or get out of the industry. And so you saw a lot of like an exodus of realtors that were just, done with it. They were like, I give up. I can't do this. So it really showed the value of the realtor and what they can provide.
I didn't think it was that difficult. It was just another...
So you're gifted.
It was another step in paperwork, but I was just like, okay. And I think maybe it's all your broker.
Okay.
At the time I was at Compass, and so they very well prepared us for what was to come and made you comfortable with it. And so I think it's all about, a lot of these, having a good broker, having that that level of protection, having that education really helps.
I agree.
So that's really kind of changed our business here in South Florida. But I think we're a year or two into it now. So.
Yeah. It seems like it was like so long ago, but that was like, like you said, 2 summers ago.
Yeah, I had to think about it.
Actually. Wow. But it's made our industry better.
I think so too. Like you said, it made it more professional. It makes it clear, because what I've also noticed at the closing table, the buyer will come back and say, I didn't know about this fee.
Right.
I don't want to pay this fee or something like that.
Deals were like not closing because of that very thing. None of mine, but from what I heard, there were just at the closing table, they see the settlement statement with all the closing costs and all of the charges, and then they see the commission, and they're like, what?
She's making that much.
Right. And it's like, then the agent is saying, I told you this, I disclosed this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. But making that clear at the outset is so important. And you think that that's like common sense, obvious, but not so.
Well, I think it's also on the agent to demand the HUD at least 24 hours before the closing.
100%.
Right?
I agree.
And so then you get your client on. Let's
Exactly.
go over this.
Right. So there are no surprises.
And we go line by line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's usually not on the buyer side.
Right.
It's usually on the seller side.
For sure.
For years, it was on the seller side. And
Mm-hmm.
it still is. I mean, they want to sell their home. So
Right.
they're offering something.
Mm-hmm.
Where the red flags would go off, like, well, why am I paying? You know,
Right.
what I'm paying. Or I noticed on the buyer side, they weren't completely in the know of the title company's fees.
I agree. And it's so funny to think about like the differences between the different states that I run, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, and New York. But one thing just still holds true is the transparency with your client. I mean, being an owner of a business, I mean, you can build your reputation for years, and then it's just tainted by one or two bad reviews because you weren't honest or weren't transparent in the process. So I live by that. You know, the client is always right, and they may not be right, but the way that you communicate with them, the way that you interact, the way that you discuss things and show them, they are right. But hey, here's what the fine print says.
Right. And hopefully we can come up with the solution to help you.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's really solution based. What else would you like to debunk right now, or any to make the transaction smoother?
Sure. I mean, you know, wires are important. And this wire I'm referring to is the wiring of funds. In Florida, it is the fraud capital of, you know, America. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But from my perspective with title and the holding escrow, we take extra precautions and utilize some of the most secure services to make sure that the funds are wired securely. So that's like really something that I believe can ease anxiety, because knowing that your funds are wired securely is important, especially if it's an all cash deal that's millions of dollars.
Right.
You know,
It's important for the client to call and check with
Yes,
the title and making
exactly.
sure that you're wiring it to the right place before you wire it.
that's a part of the process.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important part of the process that I think some people want to skip over, because why would you give me a fraudulent number? Well, you never know if that number was somehow
Compromised.
in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's common. I mean, you know, I've been able to avoid it and flag it. The banks are able to flag these things. So our banking system is getting more familiar with it and being more proactive, but it's still there. Wire fraud is real.
Okay, so you've been in Miami for a while. The show is about the balance. Tell me, how are you finding your balance here between work? What have you found for your workout? What are you doing?
I love yoga. I love yoga. Yoga creates such a balance for me, you know. No pun intended with the show The Balance, but it really does, because there's so much as a business owner that you're doing. You're the CEO, you're the marketing, you're the admin, you're the lawyer, you're everything, you know, in my position. And so having that 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever it is, to yourself is so powerful, because you can come to work with clarity and focus and energy, rather than waking up immediately and going right to work. Of course, you know, I wake up, and if there's an alarming email, I gotta, you know, answer it really quickly. But that getting up, getting a run in, yoga, stretching, and meditation, prayer, those things all are very grounding and allow me to be my ultimate best self. Because when you know, I'm not the type of lawyer who's like a adversarial litigator type, but I'm still defending my clients and I have their back every step of the way. And so if someone on the opposing party is demanding something that's not fair for my client, it's my best interest, or the client's best interest is always on top of mind. And so being energized and ready to have their back is what gives me the competitive edge to serve the client in the best way possible.
Amazing. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by today. And here's one question. How can the how can the audience get a hold of you?
You all can reach out to me in numerous ways. I'm very accessible. I say I'm almost too accessible right now in my business, but you can reach out to me via Instagram at Curington Law LLC or Curington Law Florida, or my personal Instagram at RJ Curington Esquire ESQ. I'm on LinkedIn. You can email me, call me. I'm available. Check out the website. Check out the content. We're here to serve you in a major way.
Well, thank you. Will you come back?
Of course.
Come back in a year and let me know how everything's going here in Miami.
We'll be in touch. I love you, Andreana. Thank you for having me. Seriously.
Of course. Thank you.
This was a pleasure.